Good Shabbos. There we go. Yeah. We invite everyone to find a seat. Shabbat Shalom. If you have your cell phone with you, let's pull it out and make sure that on the side where it's silenced, that you can see the little orange or red. Cantor Schuster. Hi.
Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
We got a busy Shabbat.
Really busy.
Playground tomorrow.
I heard somebody's getting bar mitzvah in the
I believe
house.
it's Judah. Oh, everyone will be in our blue prayer book. You can grab one by the front. We're starting on page 12. Shabbat Shalom. together to page 22, Lechuna Ranana.
Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, la do no, Naria, Lechuri Sheinu. Lechuna Ranana, la do no, Naria, Lechuri Sheinu. Nekat Baba Navetoda, Isro Narialo. Nekat Mahanapitoda, Isro Narialo. Lechuna Ranana, la Adonai, Naria, Lechuri Sheinu. Lechuna Ranana, la Adonai, Naria, Lechuri Sheinu. Nekat Mahanapitoda, Isro Narialo. Nekat Mahanam, Nekat Mahanapitoda, Isro Narialo. One more time, Nekat Mahanam, Nekat Mahanapitoda, Isro Narialo.
Page 24, 3 lines from the bottom of the page.
Ay, 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 alo, Sadai, Becho, Asher bo, ya alo, Sadai. Ay, 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 alo, Sadai, Becho, Asher bo, ya alo, Sadai. Ay, 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 Aziranu, Kolatei, Aziranu, Kolatei, Aziranu, Kolatei, Aziranu, Kolatei, Alo, Sadai, Becho, Asher bo, ya alo, Sadai. Ay, 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 alo, Sadai. Becho, Asher bo, ya alo, Sadai. Ay, 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 Aziranu, Olatei, Aziranu, Olatei, Aziranu, Olatei, Aziranu, Olatei, Alot, Sadai, Behold, Asher bo, ya alot, Sadai. Ay, 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 alot, Sadai. Behold, Asher bo, ya alot, Sadai. Ay, 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 ay.
Bam. Page 26, bottom of the page, Or Zarua. Let's plant the light.
Or Zarua. Or Zarua, la tzadik, ulei shrelei simcha.
Page 28, middle of the page.
Zamaru l'Adonai bechinor, bechinor, bechol zimra. 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 Zamaru l'Adonai
Page 30, bottom of the page.
Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu l'hakosho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu l'hakosho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu l'hakosho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu l'hakosho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu.
Page 34.
Yalai, 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 Mizmor leDavid, Havul Adonai
bless with that peace.
The sun is going down. It's shining through the trees. Another week's gone by, become a memory. So put away your hammer. There's nothing left to do. Come inside and find the gift that's waiting here for you. Oh, it's time to say good Shabbat, 'cause all your work is done. Gonna spend the day together with the Holy One. Make a special blessing on a cup that's filled with wine. Man and his creator, it's a very special sign. Your candles will be burning, filling your homes with light, singing songs of Shabbos far into the night. So put away your hammer, there's nothing left to do. When you're home, you'll find the gift that's waiting there for you. Oh, it's time to say, 'cause all your work is done. Gonna spend the day together with the Holy One. Make a special blessing on a cup that's filled with wine. Man and his creator, it's a very special sign. Good Shabbat.
We pause now as we remember with reverence the yard sites of our beloved departed, which are observed until sundown tonight, the third day of Elul. Mina Altman, Emmanuel Browdy, Daron Fisher, Sydney Goldberg, Frida Isaacson, Alvin Cohn, Yvonne Liss, Pauline Mash, Colonel Joseph Malofsky, Stephen Rosenberg, Lillian Selkinson, Eileen Smith, Leopold Wolf, and Meyer Zaporkin. Zecher Tzadik Libracha, may their righteous memories continue to bring blessings into all of our lives. Together saying to that, Amen. And in solemn testimony to the unbroken chain of faith that links us lador vador from one generation to the next, those who are in mourning and those who are observing a yard site today, please rise as you are able for the Mourner's Kaddish. Mourner's Kaddish is on page 124. 124. Yitgadal ve'yikadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divra chiritei, v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye decho beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru Amen.
Amen.
Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yipa'ar ve'yitramam ve'yitnaseh
ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו.
בריחו.
לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן.
אמן.
יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
אמן.
עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
Amen.
You may be seated. We'll all turn back to page 38 for Lecha Dodi. And if you're looking for a seat, we have a couple in the front up here. Maybe.
Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, ene Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, ene Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibor echad Yishmi'anu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shemo tiferet v'litilah Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, ene Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, ene Shabbat nikabela. Likrat Shabbat lecho v'nelcha Ki hi mekol habraka V'rosh mikedem nesuka Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tehila Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, ene Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, ene Shabbat nikabela. Boi b'shalom ateret b'hala Gam b'simecha u'b'tzahala Toch emuneh am segula Boi kala, boi kala Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, ene Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, ene Shabbat nikabela.
We remain standing and we pause now to extend our condolences from our congregation to members of our community who have been bereaved in the last week. We join together on the bottom of page 41 for the traditional Friday night greeting for those in mourning. Hamakom yanachem etchem betoch sha'ar avalei Zion ve'Yerushalayim. May the Holy One who comforts Israel grant you solace in your bereavement. We turn together to page 50 for the Barhu, the call to prayer.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
You may be seated. We invite up Eileen Silberg, Judah's great aunt, to lead us in responsive English prayer together on page 51.
O Lord, your word brings on the evening twilight. The heavens proclaim your glory.
And we, your creatures on earth, behold in wonder your endless miracles.
Help us to recognize your guiding power in distant galaxies and in our own souls.
Teach us your law of righteousness and love, so that your Spirit may govern our lives.
Source of peace, bless our worship. May our meditations find favor in your sight.
May our gratitude for your wonders lead us in love to your service.
So that, like the changing seasons, the days, the nights, our lives too will proclaim your glory.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you.
ומעביריום ומבילילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני אמרי ורבי
52.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוקנו ובקומנו נשיח חוקך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו לאורך ימינו ובהם נגה יומם ולילה ויאהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל
54.
שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך בכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, ותרתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
56.
והיה
And reading together in English, middle of page 57. Therefore, keep these words of mine in your heart and in your soul. Bind them as a sign upon your arm, and let them be a reminder above your eyes. Teach them to your children, speaking of them when you're at home and when you are away, when you lie down at night, when you rise up in the morning. Write them upon the doorposts of your homes and upon your gates. Thus your days and the days of your children will be multiplied on the land which the Lord promised to your ancestors for as long as the heavens remain over the earth. 58.
ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור דבר. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
60.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ובני ישראל לכנו שירה בשמחה רבה ויאמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדת הקודש תורה תהילות עושה פלא תורה תהילות עושה פלא מלכותך ובניך בוקע ים לפני משה זה ליאנו ואמרו זה ליאנו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גל ישראל.
Amen. We invite up Michael Fellerman to lead us in English responsive prayer, bottom of page 63.
Help us, O God, to lie down in peace, but teach us that peace means more than quiet.
Remind us that if we are to be at peace at night, we must take heed how we live by day.
Grant us the peace that comes from honest dealing, so that no fear of discovery will haunt our sleep.
Rid us of resentments and hatreds which rob us of the peace we crave.
Liberate us from enslaving habits which disturb us and give us no rest.
May we inflict no pain, bring no shame, and seek no profit from another's loss.
May we so live that we can face the world with serenity and with grace.
May we feel no remorse at night for what we have done during the day.
May we lie down in peace tonight and awaken tomorrow to a richer and fuller life.
Amen.
And a bar mitzvah. Sure,
ושמור צאתנו בואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ברוך אתה אדוני הפורס ישראל ועל ירושלים
64.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. בששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש.
66.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה,
Amen.
ועלמד יבדע קירותי וימליק מלכותי, בחיי כל ויום יכון, ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב, ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבם מברך, לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי לקודשה בריחו לעילם עם כל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן.
We rise for the Shabbat evening Amidah, which is said personally, beginning on page 69.
Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amka ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amka tasim le'olam. אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום, כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך ועל כל יושבי תבל. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך ועל כל יושבי תבל. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם, תשים לעולם, תשים לעולם.
You may be seated, page 80.
ויקולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויקל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות.
82.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק, אלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, בונה שמיים וארץ. מגן אבות בדברו, מקיים מתים במאמרו, האל הקדוש שאין כמוהו, המניח לעמו ביום שבת קודשו, איבם רצה להניח להם, איבם רצה להניח להם, לפניו לעבוד ביראה ופחד, ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד, ואין הברקות. אל ההודעות אדון השלום, מקדש השבת ומברך שביעי, ומניח בקדושה לעם מדושני עונג, זכר למעשה בראשית.
86.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי דבריו, Kalmadi v'rachilutev yamnik malchutev v'chai kol nebemei kol nebchai kol beit Yisrael v'agalav izman kari v'imeru. Amen. Yehei shvei rabam mevorach le'olam u'lal me'almaya. יתברך תשתבח יתברך יתברך יתאסף יתהדר יתהלל ויתהלל שמי דקודשה ברכו לאל אמין כל ברכתה ושילתה ושפקתה ונקמתה דבילן בעלמה ואמרו אמן תתגבר צרותו לבטון לכל ישראל כאדם ובהון בשמיים ואמרו אמן יהי שלום הרבה משמיים וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן עושה שלום במלמיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen.
We turn together to page 90 and we rise for the Friday night Kiddush. We invite Judah Fellerman to lead us in toasting to this holy day of Shabbat. If you're joining us online, please lift a libation of your choice as we bless the day. Page 90.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pori hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotov v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon, chinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh, zecher litziat mitzrayim, kivanu v'chata ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon chinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai Mikadesh HaShabbat.
You're not driving home, are you?
Mazel tov.
Shkoyach, shkoyach.
Can I give you a high five? I'm so proud. You may be seated.
Sounds like he was singing like a Mormon tabernacle choir. Judah, I'm sure there's no more beautiful Kiddush chanted in Baltimore tonight than that Kiddush. Thank you for that. It's a really wonderful way to roll us into Shabbat. We're very honored and also grateful this evening at Bethel to welcome Dr. Yitzhar Hess here. He's with us in worship and in a moment to share a few thoughts with us. Dr. Hess is a 10th generation Jerusalemite, 10th generation, currently living in Modi'in. We already played a little bit of Jewish geography and have established that we both know Dr. Joshua Kulp, who was my chevruta when I was in rabbinical school. Dr. Hess has a number of advanced degrees, to include a law degree and also a PhD in sociology, and has spent his career serving Jewish communal organizations, to include the Jewish Agency, but is here tonight with us really in his role as vice chair of the World Zionist Organizations. Dr. Hess, please. Thank you for being here.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Rabbi, for the warm introduction, and Kol HaKavod, Judah, for the great Kiddush you led us. Todah. Thank God, my son, Achiad, was not in Israel on October 7th. Achiad is 28 years old. He's a student at the Hebrew University, and it was the last week of the summer vacation, and he was on a trek in Nepal. And he didn't hear about the events in Israel that Shabbat of Simchat Torah, not even on Motzei Shabbat, not even on Sunday, because he was in a place with no internet. Only on Sunday evening, he learned about what happened in Israel. And then in the next 4 days, he was doing whatever he could to come back home. So he walked for a day till the nearest road, then rented a Jeep in a ridiculous price for another 10 hours on a road to get to the nearest airport, took a flight to Nepal's capital, and from there a flight to Israel, bought a ticket for a flight to Israel via Mumbai, India, only to discover that you need an Indian visa to get via India. So he tossed the ticket, bought another one, this time via Dubai, the Emirates, and was able to land in Israel on Thursday morning. Quick meal, breakfast with my wife and I and our son, and a quick shower, and rushed to his unit. For 4 months, he was in Gaza. And thank God, Achiad was not in Israel on October 7th, because I know my son. He served in an elite unit in the army. On that Shabbat, if he was in Israel, he would have rushed to his unit, put his hands on whatever rifle he could, and would have gone to the south, to the Gaza envelope, to save as many civilians, to kill as many terrorists. According to the statistics of that day, most of the soldiers who did the same did not survive. So thank God that Achiad was not in Israel on that Shabbat. Unfortunately, for so many Israeli families, it's not the case. If you would have asked me a month after October 7th, how long would it take, the operation in Gaza, I would have told you an extra month maximum. And here we are, standing almost 11 months after October 7th, still not knowing when it would end. Not only that, we have a front in the north now for the last more than half a year. In many ways, Israel is in one of its most gloomy moments. This week, when we had the funerals of the 6 hostages who came back to Israel in coffins, it was one of the hardest days that we experienced in Israel since October 7th. And there were many hard days since October 7th. Now, what actually happened here? In more than one way, our entire security doctrine collapsed on October 7th. Intelligence-wise, according to the intelligence doctrine, we should have known 48 hours before the attack that something is about to happen. We didn't know. We had several barriers between us and Gaza. None of them functioned that day. And politically, for so many years, we were feeding Hamas with millions of dollars every month, thinking that it would help, that if we pay enough money, we'll buy quiet. And apparently this collapsed as well. In more than one way, Israel is still on October 7th. We are not on October 8th yet. It will come, I hope, but we are still mourning. We are still coping with what happened that day. But when you come to think about October 8th, that I hope will come sooner than later, but when you come to think about October 8th, you need to think about the months prior to October 7th, because October 7th was a nightmare, but October 6th was not a paradise either. Try to remember the months between January 23 to October 6. 10 months where the Israeli society was torn. We were rallying, demonstrating in the streets, defending our democracy, trying to make sure that the government that is duly elected in Israel, that our government would not change the nature of the Israeli democracy. We were fighting every week in the streets. And what we did, and I'm so proud that we did it, because it has to do with Zionism more than anything else, the emblem of those demonstrations was the Israeli flag. You could have seen hundreds of thousands of Israeli flags in a way that you never saw before. It's as if we all felt that when something so fundamental might be changed, Israel as a liberal democracy, when something so fundamental could be changed, you go back to the basic of Zionism. And you take the flag, the same flag that Herzl used in the first Zionist Congress in Basel. That same flag became the emblem of what happened in Israel in the months prior of October 7th. It brings me optimism. It brings me optimism because I know that when October 8th comes, we would need these powers to make sure that Israel is back where it used to be. For 13 years, I was the executive director of the Masorti movement in Israel. The Masorti movement in Israel, it's conservative Judaism. The Hebrew name is Masorti, and I was the executive director of the Masorti movement in Israel. I was elected 4 years ago to be the vice chairman of the World Zionist Organization, the same organization that Herzl founded 127 years ago in Basel, and I represent in the Congress, in the World Zionist Congress, I represent Masorti conservative voice. Now, you come to think, what is Zionism today, and how can we cope with the fact that Israel is in such a crisis? And what is the role of us Israelis in building the Israel of October 8th? And what is the role, and there is a role, for world Jewry to help us build the Israel of October 8th? And I would like to touch it for a second. The Israel of October 8th needs to be built on two pillars. One of them is an obvious one. We need to strengthen our military ability, our defense ability, to make sure that it would never happen again. We need to enlarge the number of the soldiers in the army. The disputes that you read about them in Israel, about drafting Haredi to the army, it's not because someone wants to change the Haredi lifestyle, it's because we need more soldiers. We learned that our army is too small in order to cope with the challenges. We need to invest in our security devices. We need to make sure that we have a more sophisticated technology. We need to invest in it. It means that in the next 10 years, Israel will be investing tons of money, more than we do now when we do invest a lot of money even today. We need to invest more in order to build Israel defense capabilities. This is one pillar that needs to be invested. The second pillar is not less important. The second pillar has to deal with Israel's democracy. We need to make sure that Israel's democracy is strong enough, that Israel's democracy would be the vital democracy, the vital liberal democracy that we can be proud of. It also needs to happen. These two pillars are so important for Israel's future. Israel should always be the democracy that we are proud of, that we should be proud of. We, Israelis, will do the utmost to make sure that Israel gets there safely. But you can be influential as well. There are 17 million Jews in the world today. 8 of them live in Israel. We have 7 of them live in Israel. We have 9 million citizens of Israel. 7 of them are Jewish. So 7 million Jews live in Israel. In North America, Canada and the US together, we have 8 million Jews. And 2 more million Jews in different parts of the world, when the third largest Jewish community is France. So we have 2 strong Jewish communities, one here in North America and one in Israel. And we know that Zionism was not born in Israel, but was born in the diaspora. And the ability in our history to have Babylon and Jerusalem together, working each time with different kind of flavor and each time with different kind of strength, the ability of the Jewish people to make something good has to do with caring to each other, with making sure that we care for the Jews who live outside of Israel and the Jews who live outside of Israel, and especially in North America, care about us in Israel. And to some extent it works well. In one aspect, I think it didn't work good enough. It didn't work well enough. And it has to do with the involvement of North American Jewry with the liberal democracy in Israel. Theodor Herzl established the Zionist movement in 1897 in Basel. Less than 50 years after he passed away, the State of Israel was established. And ever since then, since the Zionist movement accomplished its target to have a Jewish state, the World Zionist Congress has a different kind of meaning. The World Zionist Congress, it's actually the parliament of the Jewish people from all over the world. A parliament like any other parliament. Third of the delegates are elected in Israel. When I vote to the Knesset sends delegates to the Congress. Third of the delegates are elected here in North America. And third in other Jewish communities all over the world. Now, what happened to us in the last elections to the World Zionist Congress, that in North America, we got apathy. The number of people who took an active role and participated in the World Zionist Congress elections was appalling. The conservative Masorti movement, our movement here in North America, got 15,000 votes. The Reform movement, our movement slate is Merkaz, the Reform movement's slate is Artzeinu. They did a little better, 23,000 votes. You know who did well? The Haredim. They joined the Zionist movement just 4 years ago, officially, and ran a slate for the first time, and they were able to get 25,000 votes in the first time that they ran. More than us, more than the Reform movement. Now, it's a drama. For the first time since the establishment of the Zionist Congress, in Herzl's time, for the first time in our history, the liberal side became a minority in the Congress. Not an insignificant minority, but still a minority. This is something that we never encountered. And God forbid if it would happen again in the next coming elections. The next coming elections are next year, in 25, between Purim, it's March, and Yom HaAtzmaut, May, 6 weeks of voting here in North America. And we are doing the utmost to make sure that it won't happen again. Israel needs the Jews from North America to be influential in what Israel is when we get to October 8th. And I'm asking you tonight in this Erev Shabbat to take an active role in these elections. It doesn't need anything. You need to be Jewish, you need to be over 18. You need to feel that you care for Israel, and you need to be part of the build of Israel after October 8th. There are many ways to help Israel. There are many ways to be involved democratically and politically. This is the only way. Now, you cannot vote to the Israeli Knesset. Only us, Israeli citizens, can, but you definitely can participate in the parliament of the Jewish people. You have a right to vote. So it's not only a voice about Israel, it's also a vote. In each and every congregation, we are looking for captains, people that would be involved, people that understand politics, people that know that politics is firstly about showing up, about going to vote. So I'm urge volunteers in your congregation to help us on that, and please approach me or Daniel, who is here with me, to make make it better. I'm optimistic. You know why? Because I read Herzl's diaries more than once. Herzl led the Zionist movement for 7 years only. The first Zionist Congress that he initiated, he was 37 years old, a young fella, and he passed away 7 years later at the age of 44. So only for 7 years he was the leader of the Zionist movement, and he was quite successful, as you can see. Yet when you read his diaries, you see how many times he was depressed. He was an excellent writer. He was dedicated to writing. So he wrote every day in his diary, and every iota that he wrote was translated. And today we know how many times, how many nights he was depressed. Now, a level of depression that you can only imagine. You can read it, because of people, because of betrayals, because of promises, because of his own life. And yet you see how he was able to change Jewish history, how he was able to gather 209 delegates in a small city in Switzerland named Basel. And from those 209 delegates, to create a vibe that not slowly, but rapidly, would be so influential in Jewish life and Jewish history. Today we have 7 million Jews in Israel. Back then, when he started, we had 200,000 only. So there are some dreams that in order to accomplish them, you need to be optimistic. So I take it as a lesson. By the way, it's better to be optimistic. You feel better every morning, but it's not easy. It's not easy when you see the reality, when you read the news, even today. We need people to get involved. We need people to love Israel. We need people to criticize Israel. I see no contradiction. When you are involved, you are allowed to criticize as well. We need it. Me, as an Israeli, as a Zionist, as a liberal, as a Democrat, I criticize Israel almost every day. This is part of being involved in something that you so care for. So I call you to remember it when election comes and to remember to vote. We need to encourage voting in North America. It's crucial for the future of the state of Israel. We cannot sit on the fence anymore. Toda Rabba and Shabbat Shalom.
We invite everyone to rise and turn to page 118 for the Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כאויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגול עלינו ככל המונם. אנחנו קוראים ומשתקבים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוצר הארץ ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו לגביהם אלוהים הוא אלוהינו אין עוד אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו ככתוב בתורתו ידעת היום להשבות אל לבבך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. הכתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר לחי אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Pausing now, we remember with reverence the yard sites of our beloved departed, which are observed sundown this evening until sundown tomorrow, the fourth day of Elul. Quinton Jonathan Adams, Milton Bover, Rory Beck, Earl Bond, Katie Goodman Gold, Lillian Carl, Joseph Miller, Harriet Offit, and Isadora Snyder. Zecher Tzadik Libracha, may their righteous memories continue to bring blessings into all of our lives. Together saying to that, Amen. In solemn testimony to the unbroken chain of faith that links us la dor vador from one generation to the next, we invite those who are in mourning and those who are observing a yard site tonight to please rise for the Mourner's Kaddish. Mourner's Kaddish is on page 124. Yitkadal ve'yikadash shemei Rabbah. Ve'elma divra cherete ve'yamlich malchutei be'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chaye techol beit Yisrael ba'gala u'bizman kariv ve'emru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'elam almei almaya. Yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitramam ve'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shmeda kutsha berechot. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mamav, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. You may be seated. Some announcements and upcoming prayer services. Our daily prayer services are at 8 a.m. and at 5:45 p.m. Both of those are happening in person. Services tomorrow are at 10 a.m. and at 7:30 p.m. Again, both of those are in person, so there's a theme. Sunday services are at 9:15 a.m. and at 5:30 p.m. Yes, all in person. Tomorrow there are 2 learning opportunities, both at 9 a.m. There's a 9 a.m. online Bible study group and a 9 a.m. in-person study of the prophets. The in-person group meets in the Baum boardroom. All of our services are now meeting in person, but you can still watch online through our YouTube page and through the Beth-El website. All of our evening services will be happening at 5:45 p.m. with the exception of Saturday evenings and Erev Yom Tov services. So please check the Beth-El website if you're coming in for an evening service, so you can double check the time. Tomorrow, we will be having our first Playground Shabbat of the year. That's our early childhood prayer service for adults and kiddos. That will be at 11:15, and if the weather is good, we'll be meeting outside in the Wild Mendel Pavilion. And if the weather is not good, we'll be meeting in the community room. Hope to see you tomorrow at 11:15 for that if you're not in the adult prayer services. And after services today, there will be a welcome back oneg happening in the lobby outdoors. Yes. Welcome back oneg. Just follow the crowd. And I'd like to invite up Cantor King, I believe.
An invitation. Yes, Shalom Aleichem.
That sounds good. Let's
Page
all.
16.
Page 16. A lot of announcements.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ba'chem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch, Baruch, Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom malachei hashalom malachei elyon malachei elyon mimelech malachei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu HaKadosh Baruch Hu Seitchem l'shalom malachei hashalom malachei elyon malachei elyon mimelech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Baruch 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 Hu. Deep in December, it's nice to remember the sun will come, the sun will follow. Deep in December, it's nice to remember without a hurt, the heart is hollow. Deep in December, it's nice to remember the fire of September that made us mellow. Try to remember, and if you remember, then follow, 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 follow. Shabbat Shalom. You must know that song.
Did you just say? I have no idea what that was.
You kids today.
When are we going to do Chapel Roan or Beyonce?
I've never heard of those things.
What if I send you?
If you have a bar mitzvah.
So it's I.
we'll see what happens.